Hello, everybody! You are watching Tales from Tomorrow, our Fallout TTRPG series that we host live over here on Twitch. My name is Kyle. I will be your overseer this evening. We'll just make a blanket pardon in advance that we are using a brand new streaming software. I've been using it for the last week and a little bit more, but there might be some technical hiccups that we're working through. One thing that we just tested before the stream was that we're going to soon have our friends come through on camera. We just got to get some audio things taken care of in the next week, some little feedback loops. I love this software. It's been great, and we've really been pioneering it over on the Vault Broadcast podcast, where we got our very first interview done last week with Edward from Welcome to the Wastes. Fantastic interview guest, just absolutely wonderful to be the first on the docket. Our friend Marty is going to come by in the next episode. We had tech issues and couldn't have him before. He is also just phenomenal, awesome, nice guy, really kind, really polite. I'm so thankful to have all these wonderful people from the Fallout community that volunteered to be part of our podcast before it ever got wings or legs of its own, that we didn't even launch the show, and that there were all these people who signed up to be a part of it. We've got someone coming by this upcoming week that's going to be in cosplay. We got a sort of a famous Fallout Instagram account that's going to be coming by. We got a couple people that run events that are interested in popping by the show. I am just in love with the list of people who've come forward. Just the feeling of family in the Fallout community has been really palpable. And that's what our show is here to do, is to connect people. It is already accomplishing its goal, where I'm learning about all these brand new podcasts that I otherwise would not. And the time, creativity, and energy people are putting into their shows just blows me away. So look out for new Vault broadcast, new show, new episode, all the rest coming this week. Of course, we will syndicate this episode up to YouTube on Wednesday. We, at the end of these episodes, record what we call our case review, our critical after show and now evaluation. I've been getting that right so much, and I screw it up every time I'm live. Critical after show evaluation. That is the case review, where we talk about everything we did on the episode, break it down, go into some detail about it, and just overall BS. We will have a new Overseer log coming out this week, so look forward to that. I just got a nice chunky 30-minute one uploaded on Saturday, so fun. Go check that out on YouTube. And this is a good reminder that we've got two YouTube channels functioning at once. One is the Tales from Tomorrow TTRPG focus, and the other is Overseer Kyle, which is more of my personal channel for unboxings, prop reviews, all kinds of things. That's actually where Vault Broadcast is going to find its home. And if you're enjoying the content you're getting here, we are freshly launching a coffee page, which if you're watching this visually, you can see it on the screen. It is ko-fi.com/overseer Kyle. And the reason I'm calling that out is we got some really exciting news that there may be a physical studio in the works. For some of you that know, I had a housing crisis this spring, been sheltering with friends for a while, but that's all happening in the time that I'm expanding out the shows and recordings and all the rest. So my friend had a great idea. He's like, why don't you look into a space that you could rent in town and record? And this is where I'm coming to all of you, that we don't generate that kind of money to rent a space yet, but I think it's really possible with what we're doing. We're uploading about 3 episodes per week per channel, meaning you're getting about 6 to 7 days a week of original content and programming. So if you like it, you find it valuable, and you can help, please check out that link. Please don't break yourself in the process, though. I want to stress to everyone that word of mouth, sharing links with friends, just generally talking about the shows you enjoy, the content creators you like, all of that matters. So again, if you can afford it, check out the coffee link. We'll have that all in the description below. As well as Vault Broadcasts and Tales from Tomorrow, we're even getting a call-in feature. So if you want to call into the show, you'll be able to leave us 5-minute recordings. And again, check out those descriptions for more. I'm going to welcome our crew here in just a second, but I think the last thing I really want to shout out as a housekeeping note is that you can always save 20% off the Bethesda gear site if you use our codes at checkout. Pay attention to the codes BTales31, 32, and 33. Those codes should be, some of them are live right now, some of them are just about to expire on Monday, Tuesday. So look out for that. And just remember, you can always check out the latest YouTube video to find the latest codes. 20% at checkout, we get a kickback. And as always, if you want to buy a copy of the Fallout TTRPG, you can get that for 10% off on the Modiphius site if you use the code BTAILS at checkout. And I've been getting really good about flashing those up on the screen. I'm sure this will be the episode I forget, but I've been getting really good to flashing them up on the bottom of the screen for people. So let's say hello to all of our wonderful guests and co-hosts who are sitting in the chat here on the side. Hello to Sky, who plays our character Sam. How you doing tonight, Sky?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for doing the audio-video test with us. Guy has this super cool Fallout backdrop in there that he says is his home. It's a little rundown, a little ramshackle, Sky. I worry about your health there, but I'm glad to have you here. And we got Dark Knight playing his character Jim. DK, how are you this evening?
Fantastic. Keeping busy, trying to troubleshoot Fallout 76. Once I get that figured out, though, then I can get into enjoying some more Fallout like I love.
Yeah, I think in the future, especially if I'm able to get a space of my own, I absolutely foresee more Fallout streams coming into the mix. I even know there were some people from TikTok that said, like, we should play together. So there's people who want to start meeting up and doing that, and it would be an absolute blast. My computer hated the latest update. So, not the latest. It hated the one that came out somewhere around December, but it's blocked me out from playing for near 6 months. So we're going to hope that that's fixed. And let's go down the list and say hello to our friend Mac Raven, who plays her character Raven. Hello, Mac. How are you this evening?
Hello, my fellow Mothman followers.
That's right. Hello to them. We are going to do just a little bit different of a screen capture tonight, too. So let's go ahead and pivot over to that just to see if this works. Nope, that's not it. We want to go to this one. Haha. How about that? Ta-da! Okay, great. And can I move around on this? I can zoom in. I don't know if is this fully what I want? Well, actually, I guess that's not a tactical map. So we're going to feel that out as we go. I think that's going to work. How about I'm going to pull something up just to test, show the people, the Town of Hope or something, just for the heck of it. This is also just so I know. But however I had patched it last week, just stopped working in the week between. Not sure why that was. Okay. There we go. And what if I take us now into the tactical mode of it and press the, resync button? Okay. Now can I zoom? I can zoom. That should be working on the screen for everyone. It is. Okay, great. Okay, groovy. So I found a way to do that. Hey, DK, there you go. There's the police protectrons. I'm sure they're doing good things, as we know the police always do. Yeah, be safe out there, everyone. It's getting real dangerous in the United States, so look out for the police. They're violent. Anyway, without going into politics too much, just to say to our players, it's been over a week since we all got together and played. It actually feels like it's been even longer than that. I think maybe it's been 2 weeks since we've played, 2 weekends. So we are diving back in with a little bit of rusty memory, I'm sure. However, a brief recap. I'm going to maybe toss this to you guys so you can fill in some of your characters so that I'm not the only one talking because I'm talking too long. But I'll just set people up and say in the last episode, one of the biggest moments was the gang getting on the boat, heading down to the West Virginia lumber mill. And then after that, they decided to sail off into the sunset south on the Ohio River. And that is, again, a brief overview, because I think maybe the first person to start with for this segment would be to say, DK, you want to tell us a little bit about Jim's experience last time? Because I think last episode he had started off with a little bit of a gunfight with the cultists in town, the Orb cultists. How'd that go?
Well, as you all know, I mean, I've been harping on this for weeks now. This has been a long time coming. I wanted to touch the thing, and I had where I had thought that originally this whole situation was going to result in my untimely death. But as we all know, it didn't turn out that way. It ended up being that I managed to convince the folks over in that house that I have magical powers and can telepathically talk to the orb. And so they thought, oh, wow, this is interesting. And I managed to even start somewhat of an internal civil war between one of their members who, as we know, is now gone. But yeah, I managed to convince one of their fellow one of their fellow brothers that he is disrespecting the orb and is going against the teachings, and that resulted in me having to shoot my gun and lay down the law.
Yeah, I really appreciate all of that very passive language you used in there, that it required you to discharge your weapon. That person's no longer with us. These are a lot of great ways to say that you murdered somebody in cold blood, and I absolutely love it. This is some great PR. In fact, the U.S. news media would love that. You're hired. Yeah, that was Jim's big encounter last week. A very, very dangerous moment. Subdued. You got through it, and now there's even possibility for the future that you might be able to have some inroads over there. DK may become a cult leader. We'll see. Let's talk about Sam next. Sam, you had a heck of a run-in with the leader of the Free Radicals last week, talking to them about potentially offering protection to the town of Hope, and a little back and forth with Rusty at the bar that set Sam a little off kilter. You want to fill us in on that?
Well, Rusty, made some pointed comments about our, similarities between the Raiders in terms of us not necessarily being the greatest help to Hope. And in fact, again, we did commit a murder, a murder most foul. Still, these things are racking in the brain. And maybe Sam will rise above it.
That's all we can hope for. Onwards and upwards. I mean, maybe that's what he'll spend the rest of his time doing. Maybe he can atone for some of these sins, so to speak. Speaking of all things magical, religious, and cult-like, let's touch base with Raven here, because I think there wasn't too much cult activity last time. But Raven, you wound up making friends with Rusty's trusted Brahmin, Betsy, I believe it was, on the boat. She got a little bit of a makeover. Is there anything else you want to share with us from your time sailing down the Ohio, or any of the rest, or even with the cultists in town? Oh, and of course, Raven uses text-to-speech, so just give her an extra second, and she'll get that in chat here momentarily.
Raven is worried about Jim and Sam. Are they following the Dims one?
Well, I mean, if that's what is she really thinking that? I'm actually, well, you don't have to tell us, but that is a hell of an accusation that I didn't even see coming here. Whoa. Hold on, is that real? I guess I'll find out in time.
Yes.
What? Okay. That's something to explore. Tonight, Raven will sacrifice Jim and Sam aboard the boat sailing down the river. Well, with that, actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull us up.
Run.
Run? She says run. I don't know what that means. I'm going to... Something run. Beastly run. Brun.
Better run.
Brun. I like it. You better run, Brun. Well, if we take a look over here on the map, will this sync through? And is it going to sync through correctly? Because it looks crazy on my side, as always. Someone actually wrote, they said, Kyle, listening to your things, just what you guys are doing on stream, it's a pretty damning thing for alchemy. It's your streams are like a reason why not to use it. So that's cool. I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm being honest about the software. I don't hold punches when it comes to software issues. Okay. So we've got this beautiful picture pulled up here. We're displaying correctly. I want to point out to people, we've got the town of Hope. That's where our players have their primary base. And now they are sailing. I'm going to move. Can I move? Oh, I can't move Jim's token from that screen, but I can do it over here. So if I move Jim, there we go. So Jim's location right now, this is where our players are sailing off to. They're going down south on the Ohio River. I can actually expand some of this map for folks too. Why don't I do that? Just a smidge. We'll erase some of the fog here. Oh dear, it's very different on my screen. There's no fog here at all. Okay. Well, our players have access in-game to the map. So in that sense, there's no spoilers in that way. This is just showing, they have access to the same Fallout 76 map that we're familiar with. And even a little bit further as I'm expanding out there, these are some areas that they would know of, particularly Raven. So I want to start off by sort of, you know what, maybe I'll go and check in with each player. We can set the scene and get into character with what they're up to, because we left them on the boat. So I'm just going to go through in order again. We'll start Sam, Jim, and Raven. Sam, where do we find, or I should say maybe Sky, where do we find Sam aboard the boat? What's he doing right now? What's he thinking after that encounter? And does he have any directions where he wants to go?
I do believe last we left off, he kind of just went and kind of just sat somewhere. Let's just say like in the cabin, just kind of took a seat pontificating on what Rusty said. And now I think he's ready to just get a move on. I know we're supposed to be headed further down south. I know he'd like to get to Point Pleasant sometime soon.
Heck yeah. And Jim, where do we find you today?
Oh, I'm hanging with old Alfred in the captain's cabin.
Very good.
Just keeping an eye, because you never know. Sometimes machines aren't always up to par, and they sometimes have a little bit of issues. So I want to make sure that we don't end up going aground somewhere.
Yeah, why don't we dive in there? So, Jim, you're in the cabin, and old Alfred goes, Master Jim, what an interesting encounter, seeing the raiders back at their fortress of the lumber mill. I haven't seen such a substantial feat of engineering in years. But where are we off to exactly? I'm happy to helm this beautiful ship, but where should I be looking to stop? Do you need me to... Does anyone need a break?
Well, to ask the crew here, because I'm down to go wherever. I don't have anywhere in particular to go to. Let me ask the crew and see what they have to say about that.
I believe you'll find Master Sam around, and Raven I haven't seen exactly, but go gather them and see what they say. Just tell me where to go, and I will do my best.
So, all right, I'll get on that.
So as Jim leaves the cabin, where's Jim find Raven? Raven, where are you hanging at in the boat?
Raven is sitting on deck trying to catch a fish, but is having no luck.
Well, if Raven would like to do any rolls to see if she gets a fish, that could be appropriate. We could do something like that. Actually, why don't you go ahead? Why don't we start off with the first random roll of the night? Do us two combat dice, Raven. If you get an effect, you get a fish. Oh, you get a fish. So, what were you saying about that bad luck all of a sudden? You feel a pulling on the line, right? Oh, you know what? We're gonna double it up, Raven. Well, you're gonna do some sort of check. Let's kick it off. What's a good check we can do for this? GM screen. Pull this up, Kyle. I'm a little rusty. Everyone, thanks for giving us some time to get back into it. Why don't you go ahead and roll your survival and endurance check? Give me one of those. Give me a survival endurance. We're just doing it by the book here. What's that get you? Difficulty is only 1, so this is a great chance to gain some extra AP. Whoa, 2 AP back in the pool. What's that, guys? Gives you a full pool. You guys are 6 out of 6, so don't be shy to use those up. In fact, I'm going to try and get you guys a little bit more opportunity for AP in these sessions. So again, just don't be shy with that. Raven, you pull, and very adeptly, you were able to pull a big old fish out of the water. And now you got it wriggling around on the deck over there. So hopefully you can handle that a bit. Jim, that's where you find Raven. And I'll let you guys dive into it. But you see her, she's just pulled this big old fish out of there. And Jim, you actually probably can fill this in, DK. What type of fish does she pull out? Since you've been fishing in 76, what kind of fish might she find?
Look, I'll be honest, I only fished a couple of times, and what I caught wasn't that big, so I can't tell you what it is.
Let's see what some of the options are, because I haven't even been in there.
Jim, I caught fish. Look, I got dinner.
We're gonna eat that raw? I mean, we got nothing to cook on this boat here.
She's getting a good old walleye from there. There we go. She's getting a walleye is what she's pulled out of there.
Well, yeah, don't you?
No, I mean, unless I want some kind of foodborne illness. Not to mention the radiation. What?
You mean eating raw fish is bad?
Well, that's what the doctors say, and the doctors were telling me that you know, well, hey, well, I don't know. Anyway, I don't think it's not good. The doctors say it's not good. Plus the radiation. I mean, you're putting yourself at risk with that one. But who am I to judge? You want to do it? Be my guest.
Maybe Al can cooked it.
Well, if you can get him out of that seat. Oh, that reminds me. Alfred wants to know where we're looking to go to.
Good question. Let's ask Sam.
And Sam, where'd you say again that they find you on the deck here or in the ship? You're somewhere a little sequestered, or are you just hanging out on top?
Yeah, I'm just, maybe I was asleep. I was in the captain's quarters, head down, got the hat over my head, just taking everything in. And when I hear my name, I kind of jolt up and I go, "Well, what's up?"
We're well, actually, we were coming to look for you because Alfred's kind of lost himself. He doesn't know where we're going.
Let's check the map.
As you guys go over, there is a map available. There's one in the main room, in the cabin, that is to say. And as some of you walk into it, I know Raven was out on the deck. So Jim, you collect Raven, bring her in with Sam, and Alfred goes, "Oh, Master Jim, I haven't exactly lost myself. I just don't know where we're going, where you would like to stop. I know we're going south, but I see in the distance a Ferris wheel, and I'm not familiar with this area. I didn't really go out of the town of Hope often, ever. It's been too long for me to remember."
I saw that Ferris wheel on the map. I bet Raven would love that.
"I do believe that is the Tyler County Fairground, if I'm reading this correctly."
I reckon I could, use some of my skills in electronics, maybe get the thing working again.
I bet they have bottles and bottles of Nuka-Cola as well.
"Well, is that a location we should plan on stopping? I will also point out that my optical sensors are noting that there's a town on the west side of the Ohio River coming up. I don't know much of it. I'm not, again, familiar with that portion of the area. In fact, I only have maps downloaded for this portion of Appalachia. Everything over there will be an adventure to me."
Look, Sam, I caught fish. Do you think Al will let me use jetpack to cook the fish while he drives? A big wheel that sounds like fun. Can we go, please?
Check it out.
I'm right here, and the answer is yes. I will gladly cook that fish for you. Don't have foodborne illness aboard my ship.
I bet we could scavenge some supplies there. I don't think it's a bad idea checking out the fairground. I mean, there's at least probably tons of scrap metal.
Mac, believe it or not, with all the games and all the stalls there, they may have a Mothman plushie that you could pick up and keep with you.
Really like doll?
Yeah, I bet they do.
Oh boy, let's go.
Okay.
Captain Alice out of course.
You're all good. Don't worry about it. I am looking to see if I can find you guys some good visuals here. Actually, this one's kind of cute. To people at home, by the way, if I swap cameras, just because I'm trying to keep it a little clean over there. So, Al sets a bit of a course for you all. You set off down the Ohio, and it's not very far from the free radicals area. You've probably been sailing something like, let's say, 2 to 3 hours. You're going at a fairly leisurely pace. I don't think anyone's gunning the engine down the river, and I think, generally speaking, you all in the back of your mind, having seen Mirelurk's last time we played, that gunning it down the river might generally be a bad idea. As most running or rushed efforts in the Wasteland, the more noise you make, the more dust you kick up, the faster any type of being would find you, whether that's everything from a Mirelurk to a feral ghoul to a gang of raiders could see you and hear you, the louder the noise you make. So as you guys are going down there at a steady pace, you begin to pull off. This will be going towards the east side of the Ohio River. And maybe I can pull back our alchemy thing just to show folks in a second where that is. But I think folks are familiar enough. We just had it up there. Here is a picture of the Tyler County Fairgrounds. And this, you see some of the taller rides come into view as you're coming down the river. That big Ferris wheel sort of catches your eye from the river. As you begin to pull your little tugboat, fishing boat off to the side, you make a very gentle landing over there, just kind of pulling it in about as close as Al feels comfortable. In fact, in this one, he doesn't find just such a great spot. You're going to have to like sort of jump a little bit, not a far jump that will hurt you, but you're one of those jumps that you're going to get your feet wet in a little bit of the marshy embankment as you're kind of climbing up it. From my memory, this area of the Appalachian map has a lot of that down there, that riverbed sort of energy to it going on. Who's the first to lead us off of the boat here? And is there anything else you want to do aboard it before we go further?
I'll hop off the boat and I'll tie it off to the dock or to whatever I can so that it doesn't float away. And I'll pull out my combat shotgun and very timidly start approaching the fairgrounds. I mean, but also waiting for them a little bit.
For sure. And
wow, that big wheel looks Sam and Jim.
Do you guys want Alfred to mind the boat, or do you want him to go with you?
Alfred, you stay here and watch the boat. Give us a big shout if you see anything, and we'll do likewise if we need help.
Very good, Master Sam. I will also keep my eyes, or shall I say my ears, I don't have those either. I will keep them tuned to the radio in case anyone comes a-calling. I'll let you know post haste.
Thanks, Al. You know, you never know what we might pick up out here. Distress signal or something.
Well, as long as you don't pick up any sort of infections or diseases in these parts, I think we'll be fine.
Let's hope so. Only thing we might pick up is some caps after we get them stolen from us from these carnival games.
Very good, Master Sam. Be safe, ta-ta! Does anyone else want anything from the boat before you head off of there?
No.
Jim's good? Raven, how you feeling? You got all your stuff? You're tidied up and ready? These are some gorgeous pictures, by the way, of the Tyler County Fairground on the side. Shout out to the Fallout Wiki that has these up there. Really nice. It's getting me in the vibe of it, I'll tell you that. Just seeing them. I was watching a little Camden Park stuff earlier today, too.
Mr. Fuzzy.
Who is that, Raven? Mr. Fuzzy? Is this a man I should be looking out for? Will he be boarding? Will we be bringing him aboard the ship? I'll make a name tag for him. I don't have any paper.
That what the poster said, Al. Look.
This poster... Oh, there must be some sort of guerrilla marketing. I don't think the Tyler County Fairgrounds and Camden Park are the same thing. They must have been trying to finagle
a blue bear.
Well, save me one if you get the chance.
Okay.
Camden Park, I think I've seen that on the map.
Why, yes, indeed, Master Sam. If Kyle can figure out how to get out of this mode of the window.
There another one of these too.
If this place is worth it, maybe we'll have to play there a visit.
Just so you guys all know, Raven's talking. Hold on one sec, but I will show you can indeed. And again, you all would know this from your map. Whoops. So past. I believe this is that Camden Park I just uncovered there? I believe that's Camden Park. This structure the whole way down here. I'm pretty sure off the top of my head that that's Camden Park, but I don't have that right in front of me to confirm. Pretty sure that's it. It's been a little while since I visited there in Fallout.
Wow, you guys most had a lot free time back then for all these games.
It was one of the avenues of escapism from the way that the world was before. It wasn't all sunshines and roses.
Yeah, I mean, we had to do something because otherwise it was nonstop, nothing but riots and protests and war. So whatever we could find to get out of all that, we did what we could.
So as you all begin departing from your boat, Raven, why don't we have you go ahead again and roll us a perception and survival if you'd like to just get a lay of the land. I want to stress to you that you've got a lot of AP in your pool. So I guess a couple things for you all. You got a lot of AP in your pool. As you're now the furthest you've ever been from your home base, I want to toss out the mechanic that you guys can, I encourage you to, for lore and functional reasons. Might want to consider setting up some camps in the future. And I don't mean exactly the type that we get in 76 as a device, but just as in there is a cool mechanic in the game. I think it's neat where you guys can look for camping locations. And I'm thinking about this because the conversation about the fish, right? How do you want to cook it? Where do you want to cook it? Al says he'll cook it. But also, you guys could set up a good old-fashioned campfire. You guys could set up a nice little area to sleep, because that's something we want to think about. I'm not a time guy in these
Sam,
games.
Jim, do we think we should set up camp for the night?
Let's give this area a look over, make sure it's safe, and then I think that's a good thing to consider.
Yeah.
So let's see. Did Raven get a chance? Okay, she's doing it right now. Ooh, so a success, 2 successes and a complication. Raven, as you are scouting out the area, you begin to traverse up a hillside to get a good overlook. And if you can see the screen I've got displayed here now, you wind up traversing up this little rock face. It's not a hard path from the way you guys are going. A little bit of an uphill trek coming from the lowest of the riverbed, but up to this, into this overlook spot. But you follow up this Tyler County Fairgrounds sign. You see it. It's still got some lights going. And everything's been quiet up until this point. But at this point, you hear the telltale sign of some gunfire happening in the background. Faint, but there. Raven, as you look out, all you see are weapon fire across the street from the fairground itself. So as you're looking down over this onto the road, It's actually, for those that can see the screen here, we're going to say it's over in this little area here where the cursor's scrolling back and forth to the left-hand side of the screen. You can see what looks like a person on this side firing at another person on the other. From this sort of vantage point, that's about all you can make out up here. What's the team want to do with that information?
Sam, I hear gunshots. They are across the road from there at 2 guys there.
Do we sit back and let it play out, or do we engage?
I'd say we figure out what this, why they're leading the blows like this. I think we could split up and sneak up on either of them and, get some talking done. See what's going on. See if we can end this. Hopefully one of them won't want to shoot at us.
Sound like plans, Sam.
I say we split up. 2 of us go behind one of them. The other one goes behind the other. And we kind of just draw our weapons and tell them to stop. See what's going on.
With that being said, who's going which way in this? Who's going to go to the ones that are closer, like the person that's closer to the Tyler County Fairground, and who's going to the one that's the closest to where you are now? Again, the one person's down here in this kind of tree line on the side of the road. They're a little bit behind rocky cover from where you guys are. You can kind of make them out. I just want to stress that I know in this picture, folks, you probably could be like, oh, I know exactly who's there. And this is already getting dusk out, so it's light's not so great. You can see a bit of lights coming from the fairground itself. So especially to your vision, things are a little bit working against you lighting-wise, right? There's still the ambient glow from Ferris wheel lights and other things in the park that are kind of pushing against your vision. You're having a hard time isolating out who's in these darker spots. The very same goes for the one that's on the other side of it that seems to be like popping up from where the guardrails are and firing back. Who's going which way?
It's hard to see too much, Sam.
Yeah, I noticed that. My vision certainly doesn't help. Raven, you might have more luck getting across the fairground to the person furthest away. I fear that Jim and I would just slow you down and also probably make a ruckus. We could try our best to secure this person closest to us.
I could climb one of the building to maybe get a better look.
That's not a terrible idea. I also, I think we get you in a position first, get the signal, and then we'll just go in. You can use the element of sneak. Old Jim and I will use the element of surprise. I'm sure when there's 2 crazed Wastelanders coming at whoever this is, they're gonna start to question what's going on.
Wise one be with you.
Wise one be with you. And may the orb guide us.
So as you begin, Raven, I think, is going to begin her descent. Does anyone here want to roll sneak checks? I'm going to leave this up to you guys to decide how noisy you want to be. With, again, this very limited information. I want to stress, I'm intentionally, you guys just can't see it and can't discern from here. So, of course, the choice will be yours if you want to go in loud and proud, or if you want to sneak through the shadows, or whatever approach you want to make to these 2. But they're still exchanging gunfire from across the way. All of this, your conversation going down really quickly on the side here. You guys are experienced adventurers. You know how to communicate with each other quickly on the fly. So it's been not more than about a minute or so in real game time.
I mean, we can try to sneak. I definitely think that distance will be Gemini's greatest factor here. Like, I think that we'll like give it some distance, not try to sneak up like directly behind them, but get to a point where we can kind of like rush up on this person.
Okay. Okay, and Raven, you're going across the street then? You might be sneaking, I'm guessing, because to get that kind of... I think if
I will roll a sneak.
Sure.
Can I use some app to help?
Absolutely. You can go ahead and roll a sneak test. I'm going to say it's difficulty 2, just because these people are engaged in a fight. They're paying attention well enough. A little distracted, but I'll put it this way. It's a difficulty 2, but I will still be lenient to this even if you score 1 on it, just because of, it'll give me a little idea how distracted they are. You're welcome to roll.
I'm heading to one of building that are kind of near the road.
Sure. Very good. Yeah, we'll say there's some little, these are the little outskirts of it established over there. This is sort of the parts of the fairground.
To climb on roof.
Okay. Great. You got a full pool of AP, so feel free to use it at your discretion.
2 app would get me 3 dice, right?
The other way around. 3 AP will get you 2 dice. It's that weird escalating thing. 1 AP, 1 dice. 3 AP, 2 dice. 6 AP, 3 dice. So, if you want to add 2, take 3 AP out of your pool. By the way, I want to stress, this is also a great way for you guys to regenerate AP. You know, as your characters are getting stronger, and those skills are higher or easier checks for you to pass, the target numbers. These, spending AP is a good way to get a return on your investment. So, okay, there's Raven's roll. I'm so sorry I didn't see it pop in there. You got 2 on that. So no AP back this time after I just made that claim. But you are able to sneak right across as that gunfire is being exchanged. And as Sam and Jim are making their way down, they're being very careful. It's taking them almost the same amount of time, just based on where they're having to sneak down this hillside, trying not to slip, fall. Again, getting dusk out, hard to see exactly. You hear bullets ricocheting. Some of them are pinging off the metal over there, metal-sided buildings and guardrails. Others, you hear bullets hit some of the trees here as Sam and Jim are going down that path. In fact, you even see one of the trees over there, like branches kind of shatter as a bullet hits them, a stray round. And it's about this time, Raven's almost to her location. Sam and Jim, you are in range of whomever this is. And as you're getting closer to them, you can see this looks to be a person, a human, who has pretty typical Wasteland garb on. They've got a bit of not a leather jacket, but kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a trench coaty type Wasteland leather sort of deal. They got a little bit of a hat on, a little sort of thing. I'm doing real bad at describing words tonight. They're not happening all of a sudden. But again, typical Wasteland attire. This is just someone, they've got a hunting rifle they're returning fire with as they're kind of popping up and taking shots and ducking down. You guys want to announce yourself? You want to grab them? What do you want to do?
I'm going to whisper to Jim and say, I noticed that they have a hunting rifle. That means that they've got pretty limited rounds. I say we rush them whenever they're reloading. I think that also with Raven getting the fire to stop from the other side, it might give us some added confusion to the mix, so that we can get them by the surprise.
Yeah, if we can do it without causing any aggression, because the last thing I want is to get shot at.
I'm agreeing.
All right.
I kind of try to peer and see over to Raven. I don't know, I know the light's low and everything, but I'm hoping that if I wave to Raven, she'll get my signal that we're ready and we're in position.
Okay.
So if you guys want to go ahead, it sounds to me like you might be making some sort of athletics check, unless you want to try something different if you're going to try and rush up on this person when they're reloading. Does that sound like a reasonable plan here, or you want to go a different route with that? Because that'd be a pretty simple check. Difficulty 1 to see if you can do that, just because, again, you're really doing it at a time that they're least ready for it.
I'll pay 1 AP and add a die and do the strength of athletics.
And Jim can assist then. So assuming you get a 1 on this, Jim could assist and gain extra AP for you. Oh!
Done.
No.
Oh! Even with all those... Yeah, that's a no-go. You could reroll. I want to throw it out, but yeah.
I'll pay. If I get this 1 success off of this one, can Jim still help, or do
Yes.
I try to win it myself? All right. Okay. I'll try it. I'll reroll with luck. Oh, it's worse. My bones are creaking. I trip up and I kind of slip.
Ouch.
And as
Hopefully Jim has better luck.
Jim, I will let you dive in here in just 1 second. Whenever you decide to do, Jim, we're going to say it's right after this bit that Sam, as he is getting closer, Jim, you're just a little bit behind him going down this hill. As this guy is, has ducked down, is starting to put some more shells in, he looks up, and it's at that time, Sam, that you almost stumble, sort of catch your feet. You don't fall face first, but it's one of those situations. You're going down the hill, your feet, you're trying to grab yourself. You grab a tree branch, and you're making a lot of bit of ruckus as you're coming down here. And the person quickly jams the last shell in there, and they point it your way and go, "Who the hell are you two? What are you doing here, sneaking up on me?"
Who the hell are we? We're trying to figure out what this gunfire is.
What does it look like? We're fighting some bastard Scorched over here. You guys could help out if you got the time. He's just dilly-dallying around, and he flips up over and fires back a few more times. Jim, by the way, if you want to do anything, now is the perfect opportunity for whatever you'd like to do.
Well, I guess I'll just, kind of slowly start walking and being like, hey now, look, we're just here looking around. We're not here to cause any issues. We're just curious about why there's all this going on here.
Jim, you can roll a speech and charisma check on that one if you want. Gosh, I'm torn. I think this is a difficulty 2 in the sense that he is already in a fight. It sounds to me like you guys are trying to be very diplomatic in the middle of a firefight. So if you'd like to say that, you're welcome to roll. Again, difficulty 2, you guys have a more AP in the pool if you'd like. But that'll see how much he's swayable. Also, Sam can help with this one too if you score even 1 success, DK.
I got 1.
You got 1. Sam, why don't you roll speech and charisma if you're cool with it?
Oh no.
Dice. He pulls back for just a moment as he ducks down. There's rounds flying around. You guys are like in cover over here. And he goes, "The hell's wrong with you? Are you new here? What's your problem? Help me. You want to die?" And he gets up and he starts shooting back. Jim, I don't know. I'll give you a brief moment here if you want to respond to anything to him before I go over to Raven quickly. You got anything you want to tell this guy that's just telling you to get your shit together?
Shit. Sorry. I'm a little bit. Let's just say divergent. Okay. I don't understand certain clues. I'm sorry. Shut up now. I'll shut up now.
Welcome to the Wasteland. Raven, you are on the other side of it. You don't hear any of this because, well, you're too distant. You hear the gunshots. You are about to sneak up on this person. You have gotten up on the rooftop and you are in somewhat of a visual range. It's getting darker every moment. You see somebody who is they're kind of in that. I mean, you can see it a little bit on the screen here. Maybe I'll zoom in. I know this picture is not the highest resolution, but you can kind of see. Can you see? Scroll, zoom. No. Oh, we were zoomed in as possibly zoomable. Sorry. You'll see down here though. There's a little bit of a dip between the road and such. And we'll say you got up on top of this building right over here. So you have a little bit of eyes on them. But you're not close enough to like communicate with them. Do you want to get closer, Raven? What would you like to do? Because you asked for a rooftop, which I don't have any problem with. You could easily get onto that from where you are, but you're not in conversing range with this person, nor can you see them very well from where you are. You can make them out. You can see that there's someone there and they're popping up and they're shooting, but hard to tell exactly who it is or anything like that.
Can I jump roof to roof?
You're about as there's no more roofs that are closer to them, if that makes sense. You're on the closest, like you're on the most exterior building of the park. If you were to jump rooftop to rooftop, you'd be going into the park further, the fairgrounds. So what you could do, looking at this map, is you could jump from the roof onto that rock face that's there. Again, cursor kind of going over it. You could go from this building here onto this rock face. That wouldn't be anything hard for Raven. And you could get up next to this person if that's what you want. I mean, you could get physical with them there if you want. Like you could stay distant. You could do whatever you want.
Okay, I see the rock and make the leap.
Why don't you go ahead? You know what? This will be an easy one for Raven. This is a good chance to regenerate some AP. Difficulty 0, strength and athletics test. Simple, easy. Not hard for Raven to do. That's that little one right there in chat, right? So you get 2 AP back to your pool. I'm putting that in for you as you quickly leap right over it, and you're on the rock face. You do it so agile and adept that you don't even make noise when you're doing it. I'll say just the faintest sound, you can hear your feet kind of skid down the rock face a bit intentionally as you're getting closer to them. And you catch yourself quickly on this tree that's visible over here. You're able to grab yourself as you're going down there. One hand on the tree. I don't know if you got another hand with a gun out or not. But Raven, at this distance, and I will say you're within your medium range, bordering on close range, you see a person, humanoid. And in the faint light, you can make out that they have very red skin, as if this person were sunburned badly. What's your plan of action now? You call out to them. You go up and tap them on the shoulder, whatever you want to do.
They don't seem right. They look like Rusty, but off I will watch to see where they are shooting to.
It's pretty obvious to you they're shooting right back at the person across the street.
Okay.
So you're just sitting there in an observation position, is that right? You're just waiting around. By the way, we'll get ready to take our break here fairly soon. Maybe this will be a pretty good spot for it. Once we know what Raven's doing, we'll go.
I see that they are firing on someone, but I can't tell who is good or guys. I will wait for Sam.
Yeah, hard to tell who's good or bad in this situation, huh? Well, why don't we do that? We'll put a pin in this and come back in 10 minutes, everybody. Everyone can kick back, relax, go get a drink, and prepare for whatever's to come next. This gives our party here a chance to think of some next actions. Hard to believe we're already an hour into our session tonight. We'll be here for another 2 hours, folks. And then we'll do a quick recap afterwards that'll go up later this week for our paid members, the case review. I want to also stress to people, if you got the opportunity, check out that coffee link while we're away. There's going to be some behind-the-scenes exclusive content up there, opportunities for you all to name a character in our game. As well, if you're a high roller, there's going to be some physical goodies that get mailed out on a quarterly basis. So if you're interested in any of that sort of information, check it out. Exclusive role in the Discord server. And if you're one of our early subscribers, that helps us reach our first stretch goal, we're going to do a physical plaque of some kind, whether it's a chalkboard that's nicely painted or whether it's something more Fallout-y in nature. We're going to do a nice founder's plaque is what I'll call it for the time being, documenting all the people's names who were members at the time of us hitting that goal. That will be something physical that goes up in the studio in the future. So look out for that. Let's try and roll us into this BRB screen. Kyle, you know how to do that? Hello, everybody. We are coming back from our break, getting back into the show, but there's, of course, a couple important announcements to make in the meantime, which is, though some people would rather ignore the obvious, they would claim that Fallout's not a political game. Of course, we know Fallout is inherently a critique of capitalism, and anyone who's a fanboy of capitalism really has no place being in or around any element of this community, considering they themselves are trying to bring the devastation of nuclear holocaust into the present. And there's no room for dealing with people like that in our society. Now, this time, the Madeleine, a boat sailing to Gaza to break the genocidal siege on Gaza, they have been surrounded and kidnapped by the Israeli government. It's a little early to know exactly what's going on and what their status is, but these are activists, peaceful activists at that, from multiple countries around Europe and the world. Everything that's going on to the Palestinian people is a horrific crime and one of the worst absolute stains on all of humanity. The people perpetuating that crime have, of course, renounced their humanity by choice. They have given it up. They have said, I am no longer a person. I will not be treated as a person. I am forsaking that right because I'd rather hurt children, babies, women, men, anyone in between. They'd rather destroy entire ecosystems and slaughter everyone down to the last. And again, I stress animals as well, in case you're someone out there that's a little bit of a misanthrope and you care about animals. Well, Israel has genocided them too. So that's one aspect of what's going on right now. The other being that there are rumors that the Marines have been activated in Los Angeles to attack violently the protesters there. Of course, we know this is fascism and overreach of the state itself, the open terrorist dictatorship of the capitalist state. Folks, this is what happened in Fallout, the violent repressions of people, of protesters. That's why, again, I say there's no room for anyone that's pro-capitalist in the Fallout space. There's no room that's anyone pro-capitalist in any everyday life, not at the grocery store, not the bank, not even getting clean water, right? Someone who is pro-capitalism is for the harming of the most innocent and vulnerable amongst us. Truly, capitalism is exploitation of man by man. So anyone that's for it is themselves inherently a slave master, or at least a wannabe slave master. They want to dominate their family, their friends, their neighbors, their loved ones, their parents, their children, their animals, anything. They see them as a means to an end, which of course is not amicable living situations. You can't have pro-capitalist parents raising children because of course they see the child as a tool of exploit or for exploitation. So it's time we drive these people out of our society, out of our planet, out of our world, because we can't live with them. And we're going to get back into the series here as best we can, though it's very hard to focus on a fun game like this when such egregious war crimes are happening around the world. And I would stress that, in my opinion, these things are connected. I partially believe a lot of the animosity that's happening in the United States here right now is being fanned to cover up things that are going on with the Madeleine. Of course, the righteous indignation of the working class here in the United States doesn't work on a calendar, but ICE raids do. And so I believe that a lot of this distraction that's being pumped out here in the West is meant to cover up and take away from international actions meant to break the siege break the blockade of Gaza. So, without going on too much of a tirade right now, because I want to keep us somewhat focused for tonight, we will try and get back into the game, though I will suggest that it's probably not going to be the longest night. There's other more important things that we should be paying attention to and talking about than Fallout. However, I want to stress to people watching, there's a reason we talk about this stuff through Fallout. The Fallout is a beautiful description of what happens if you allow capitalists to run their course, that they will destroy the environment around them, they will destroy the animals around them, and I think most pressing to many of you, they will destroy you, your family, and everything you've ever held dear in life. And you guys see this already on the light side of it when we talk about how companies like Bethesda manipulate, milk, and ultimately destroy franchises that we enjoy. That's the lightest side of it, that capitalists milk the things we like and they turn it into mush. But on the more egregious side, it is them torturing, slaughtering, raping, murdering innocent people, animals, the environment. So without further ado, try and get myself back into the headspace here. And I'll ask my comrades if they're still at the table. Do we have everyone here back from their break?
Yes, I'm here.
We got a DK. I see a Raven typing, and I see a Sky.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, say a prayer for the Medellin, says Raven. That's right. That's right. And a good maybe last parting note on it is a reminder that Greta Thunberg was beloved in Western media until she made the correct connection that the exploitation of the environment is caused by capitalism, that it is. We can't save the environment or save the animals while the dominant system that people are stupidly, ignorantly, truly, meaning they don't know, they're cheering on a system that will lead to it. Again, you can't solve a climate crisis while embracing the system that's destroying it. It's like saying you want to help the environment, but you're literally just going out there and just burning down entire forests, knowing you're hurting things. I mean, it's maybe a poor example, but it's, I'm going to fix my house up by lighting it on fire, something stupid. It doesn't make sense. So anyway, back into our headspace here as best we can. We won't go again forever tonight, but just to say to folks, be safe, be armed, be strapped up, be ready. Fascists don't kill themselves. So, just be prepared for whatever comes your way. As our players are engaging with these targets here, let me make sure we get this one up on the side of the screen. Raven had just taken notice of this person who has reddish skin. She has decided not to fire upon them. Good thing, too. She doesn't know who they are. Sam, Jim, we're going to flip back to you. You've engaged with this person. We don't know who they are. They've been firing back, and so far, I think you two are a little bit deer in the headlights, if memory is correct, that you two are just talking to the guy and trying to get him to speak more to you. I'll toss it back to both of you to see if you want to make any decisions in the short term.
After I hear that he describes them as scorched, I quickly kind of understand the situation just based on the limited knowledge I have of the scorched, and I kind of go into military mode and get into a form of cover, kind of like in the embankment that this guy's hanging out in, and I will pull out my hunting rifle as well.
For sure. Okay, so Sam, you're joining in on the combat here. Jim, what's your thought?
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm pulling out. I'm trying to see what I have here. Yeah, I've got myself a hunting rifle. I'll pull that out and get behind cover.
Sounds like a good plan. Okay, Jim's pulling out his weapon, getting into cover. As you see, this guy begins firing back across the street. Raven, you could roll a perception and survival if you want to see what Sam and Jim are up to. You might have a chance of seeing it. You've got the lights of the Tyler County Fairground to your back, so you'd have a little bit easier of a time seeing out than they would seeing in. Well, that's a complete choice of yours if you'd like to make that. Was that it right there? Raven rolled it and got a success and a complication. I'm going to say in the situation you're in, considering that's a high-low, I'm going to say you can't see what they're up to. Not yet. Sam, Jim, I'm not going to throw us into full combat initiative order just yet. Why don't you guys, if you're going to fire back, I will give you that option to do so now. You guys are you're in probably medium range where you're at, across the street, but not so far away. You could get into long range if you were to back up even further, just as an option to all of you. Raven, I'll say that once they start firing, though, if they start firing, you'd probably pick up on what's going on next. So, is that the plan of the crew here? Do people want to take some shots at them?
Yes, I'll aim my hunting rifle, and I will point it at the one closest.
Very good. Go for it. Go ahead and roll up some damage there, Sam. See what you can do, and let me get some stats over here. 2 successes, very good. And you know what? I think that's probably going to be his the defensive for this one, just given the terrain and all that. I'm going to say you're probably need to roll a 2 to hit them. Oh, nice! Bam! And this is the kneecapper too. You want to do a hit die in there too, so we know where that lands?
It's the last one. It's torso. Got
you. Torso shot, 2 hits. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things of damage with a piercing of 2. Has this guy got any physical damage resistance? He does. He has a 3 physical. So your shot. Oh, you know what? I want to make sure I'm looking at the right stat block. Swap root that. This guy has only 1. I was looking at a different one. This guy's only got 1, so he takes all of that damage. So again, 2, 4, 6, 7 points of damage right to the torso. You hear a scream over there, something more like a screech, near a howl, as you hit. And with that, a critical hit at that. This creature, person, you know it's a scorched, but still a little distance to see. I reels back. Jim, you want to take a shot at him?
Yes.
And as this is going on, Raven, you're perceiving this now too. You can hear the extra shot from Sam's gun. In about a moment, Jim's going to fire off some kind of round. Again, this is a reminder, Jim, it's a difficulty of 2 to hit, so if you want to spend any AP, that option is on the table for you.
No, I'll just do it.
Okie dokie. 1 success. That round falls short of him, but it is enough to tip off Raven. Raven, if you'd like to roll up too, you're welcome to go ahead. You would see now at this point that Sam and Jim have taken a defensive position and are returning fire on the Scorched. And I'm going to send a picture in this chat, and I'll see if I can send it in the other one too, just so people can see what we're looking at. This is the art from the book while she makes her decision there for her next action.
That sounded like Sam Gunn. I say to myself, they need help.
They need help. There you go, everyone. That is a Scorched right there, if I've ever seen one. That is what our characters are seeing. Some of them are seeing them from further away. Raven's up close enough to see some of the good bits. Creepy. Let me see here. What's our Raven doing? Okay, waiting for her to take a shot. I think that would work based on where you are. You're behind his cover. Sorry that, pardon me, I didn't document this all in advance. It's going to be 2 defense for Sam and Jim shooting across, him being in cover. Raven, you're behind him, so you're circumventing the cover there. So if you want to go ahead and roll up your damage on that gun, let's see it. 4 points of damage to the arm. He's got 1 thing of defense to him, so 3 points of damage. So what was the previous one again? Sorry, 2, 4, 6, 7 points plus 3 points is 10 points total. Raven, you land that arrow on him. And as you hear it thump into his arm, the creature, the Scorched, whips around, and he's going to fire at you, Raven. He is going to do I didn't know I was going to battle with Scorched tonight. I should have been a little bit more prepared for them. What's his gun damage here? He needs to hit a target number of 9 to hit. Here we go. Rolling. He gets 1 success on that shot, and that's going to connect up that way, Raven. So he needs to do... He's using a hunting rifle over here, which I'm sort of ad hocing because I'm changing his little stat block just a little bit. Okay. What amount of dice does he roll? He's got 3, 4. There we go. Raven, he fires back a connecting shot, hits you in the left leg. Only 2 damage on that. Very, very minimal damage to you. And as that shot leaves his barrel, he just collapses on the ground because you guys left him with only 1 health point, and he was already critically wounded from that first shot to the chest. This Scorched collapses on the ground. I'm going to say that takes you all out of combat here. There was only 1 Scorch engaging this guy from this position. So, with that said, with this dead body now slumped over there, the man that's with Sam and Jim pops his head out further. He goes, I think we got him. I got to thank you all for your help. I don't know who the hell you two are or what the hell you're doing in this area, but I thank you. The name's Ruben. And who are you two? Got names?
Nice to meet you, Ruben. My name's Sam Houston. This is my good associate and friend, Jim.
Sam? Jim? Nice to meet you both. Better situation could have happened, I suppose, but, well, maybe not. Maybe this is the best of the situation. I'm guessing you're new to Appalachia. Welcome to the region. Got a good greeting of some of the local folks that are always causing us trouble. You met these bastards before?
I've heard about these Scorch. Haven't seen them yet. They look quite like ghouls.
Well, they smell like ghouls too, but they don't act like them. Ghouls don't usually use guns. Well, not unless they're prior to being feral, of course, but these things qualify as both feral and still somewhat intelligent. The whole Tyler County Fairground is filled with them. Damn infestation if I ever saw one. Didn't know it when I was coming down this way.
Is that so? We were hoping to set up camp here tonight.
Sorry, I shouldn't have laughed. Where are you all from?
From up north. There's a small town called Hope. Heard of it?
No. But, the name's pretty fitting. There's a lot of people out there trying to peddle both false hope and, well, others who are trying to make a new way here. You all come to Appalachia for the gold? What brings you here?
Something like that. I'm on the hunt for old world stuff. Jim here. Well, you know, I know he's a traveling guy. I'm not entirely sure, what brings him here.
Well, I've just been, on my way south, actually, and happened to run into these fine folks here and become friends with them, and we've been working together ever since.
Continue.
Sorry, I was going to say, we've got another comrade further down that way. She's hiding above the building. She must have helped take him out from the back. You want to meet up?
That must be them now, coming across. They're damn lucky that they're not bringing more with them. Must be a stealthy one. I didn't see your friend even cross this road. Raven, you make your way on over as they continue to do some light chit-chat. He goes, you're all in Scorched territory. I gotta ask the question, are you vaccinated against these things?
I'd heard about both the fact that this was some sort of plague and that there was a vaccination. But unfortunately, I don't think any of us have gotten it yet. I was hoping that maybe we could find someone producing it and get a steady supply of it sent up to Hope. A lot of people from the pit come there, and we'd like to get some inoculation set up.
Oh, that's a pretty damn good idea, actually. I've never been up that far myself. It's a little hard to travel these parts. Always. It's the Wasteland after all. You gotta be careful of the Scorched. As far as I know, I'm no doctor, but as far as I know, it's transferred through direct contact. That even means droplets of saliva or spit or any of the rest. Blood. You better be damn careful. You could turn up just like them. And then, well, the same thing would have to happen to all of you. We don't want that now. We don't really want anyone catching it. I don't know who's... Of course. All people in the area here that have been here for a while. Oh, I don't know what it's been, 2 years or so, I think we've been passing it around, the vaccine. Oddly enough, many of us took it in the form of Nuka-Cola. Don't know if you're a fan, but someone turned the old Nuka-Cola facility here into quite a bottling plant for it. It's not uncommon that you could find some in local establishments. There's some people that are trying to bring back the responders. Don't know if you heard of them, but kind of a first responder group built anew, and they got some outposts not terribly far from here. It'd be a long walk on foot, I admit, probably a day or two, but there is an outpost not terribly far from here. Where'd you come? You came from the north? Did you walk all that way?
We got our hands on a boat.
Oh, a boat, really? Travel, huh? In the lap of luxury.
That brings me to my next question, friend. Where are you heading from, and where are you headed to?
Well, I'm what they call a settler out here. I got a little cabin of my own, a couple friends, sort of family, if you will. We set up shop just north of here. I was hoping to gather some supplies, see what I could scout out. Didn't mean to alert a Scorch. I thought that I was sticking far enough away from the fairground on this side of things, but as it turns out, I must have been a little loud in my approach. That one heard me. You know, these bastards wander when they get, I don't know, bored. Gotta be careful for that.
You heading back to your home anytime soon?
Well, I might be. Are you looking for a place to spend the night?
If it wouldn't be too much of a burden, I was hoping maybe we can assist you in traveling back. Maybe making sure that we don't run into any of those Scorch on the way, and help you take care of them if we do. If you could put us up for the night, that'd be much appreciated.
I think we could probably take in a couple more people, maybe feed a couple extra mouths. Not too bad. Well, look.
Hello there, I'm Raven.
Oh, barely remembered. You're one of them damn cultists. You look like one of them Mothman cultists. He pulls up his rifle. I know your kind. You're not from far around here. The hell are you traveling? The hell are you traveling with this one for?
I am with the wise one.
Let's all settle down here. I understand. I understand you've had some issues with some Mothman cultists. You know, we're no friends with, I'm sure, the ones that you have run into, but she's different. She's not with the ones that roam through Appalachia and have been causing this havoc. In fact, you know, that's what brings us on this journey to begin with, is that we're trying to look for people, trying to to gather as many folk as we can and let them know what's coming. These Mothman cultists, from what we know, they've got big plans coming for Appalachia, and we're trying everything in our power to stop to it.
Is that the rumblings I've been hearing then, huh? There's been a lot more of her kind trekking through the hills and the valleys over here. Where we're at, not too far up this way, they had an old headquarters, I guess you could call it. We call it Clancy Manor. They were staked out there, pretty fierce. We don't go that way anymore. But look, we should walk and talk. Sun's setting quick. It's getting real dark. If you got flashlights, torches, any kind, I suggest you might get them out, but also be careful. If you hear rustling, it might be good to hide it. Look, we're going to take a quick...
Yes, the equinox is near.
Quick walk up this way. He is leading you. Your boat, I'm pulling this up and showing this on stream right now. Your boat is sort of parked in this little area. My cursor's going around this little, we'll call it like a little inlet or something there. He is leading you up this way, which takes you up a nice road here. And as you guys get closer, if you want to stop or do anything along the way, you let me know. But he takes you towards what our other Fallout friends might know as the Groves family cabin. And what this gorgeous concept art shows is a completely dilapidated cabin. I've spent some serious time here in Fallout 76 myself. But what's different is you can see these cabins are very much in a state of repair. They have, him and whoever he's with, have taken some serious time to patch things back up. Where there was a garden before, a new one sits. A new, healthy, somewhat sprawling little area here. Nothing too glamorous. But definitely settlers making their mark on Appalachia. And as you're getting closer, it'd be pretty obvious to take all of that in. You start trekking up closer to it, and he says, look, I'm going to introduce you to a couple of people there. Y'all seem like fine folks. I'll introduce you to Ted. He's over there, and Marlene, she's one of my closest friends here. They're often tending the homestead, and I left them to watch out for. We have a couple other people that usually bunk with us. Some other comrades of ours that are out on another scouting mission, doing some hunting, looking for food. I don't know if they'll be back tonight, but if they make it, we'll make some introductions. And as you're getting closer, you can actually see there's a little bit of a smoke trail from a fire. And the night's starting to settle in. It's probably about the last you'd notice before it actually gets dark. As you get closer and closer, you can start to see a little bit of light come from the area. He starts leading you up. Fairly simple 2 cabins. There's some old dilapidated cars sitting over there. You can smell food, something like meat cooking on the spit. As you get up closer, closer. You hear a voice yell out. Who goes there? Ruben shouts back. Marlene, it's me. I'm with some others. I found some friends along the way. Don't shoot. They're friendly enough. They help me out. He's starting to relay a little bit more as you guys get in closer of earshot range. And you see a woman step out from behind one of the dilapidated cars there. She goes, well then, pardon my inhospitality. We don't get many friendly guests up in these parts recently. But any friend of Ruben's a friend of mine. Welcome to our little humble abode. He goes, why don't y'all introduce yourselves, get to know one another. I'm going to go in, drop off some of my stuff, take a look over and see if I sustained any wounds from that battle. And as you guys are now kind of...
Hello, I'm Raven.
She goes, oh, Hey, Ruben, that's one of them damn cultists, isn't it? Oh, Marlene, don't worry about this one. This is a good one or something. Somehow enlightened. I don't know if it's rotted her brain, but hey, we don't judge around here. There's enough brain rot going on as it is. Just good to have some extra company.
Me is nice. I only people on Sundays.
She goes, you better watch out what you're saying about that in these parts, because, well, honestly,
That is joke.
I think a lot of people kill you before you get a chance to make that joke again. Luckily, we're not most people out here where beggars can't be choosers. We got raiders to our north, cultists to our east, and Scorched to our south. And to our west, the gorgeous Ohio River in all its glory, mirelurks and all. So, welcome. What can we get you all set up with tonight? You need a place to bunk?
I just wanted to say that we don't often meet very many hospitable hosts, so it's very appreciative of you having us. Don't pay too much mind to her. She would have been a comedian pre-war. That was her missed opportunity. I'm Sam Houston. This is my good associate and friend Jim, and you've met Raven. We're all traveling from the town of Hope, just trying to make our way down the river. Ruben here has offered us a place to stay, so we much appreciate that.
Well, it's good to again see some friendly faces. Ted's milling around, probably in the back lot here. He was he was taking care of the garden, but it's gotten quite dark. He's probably out there just doing a once over. I warn y'all, there's some hounds in these hills too. Some I guess something like rabid dogs, mongrels, if you will. You keep an eye on them. Try and push them back. Some big ones, too, on occasion. We'll call them leaders of the pack. They'd be trekking through the woods, and you just don't want to have them sneaking up on you, or you'll be missing some legs, hands, whatever it is, like to gnaw them off. So just keep your eyes open. Welcome to Appalachia proper. You say you're not used to running into a lot of friendly folk. I mean, there's a good amount of settlers down here who'll take you in. You just maybe gotta careful with your friend there. It's a trying time with all these cultists going around. In fact, we had some trouble with them not too long ago ourselves, but we try and play a little quiet in these parts. They don't really seem to care about us. There's some other farmers up the way, other friendly folk too. They are in a lot more danger than we are when it comes to cultists, I suppose. Maybe they're a little bit of our bulwark.
I had heard from Ruben that you did have some run-in with those cultists. He had mentioned something about them staying at some sort of manor. Is there any way you could point me to that on my map? I'm very curious about this.
Sure, let me see what you got there. And Sam, you pull out a map, and she points you to. She goes, "Well, see right here, we are at what was called the Groves family cabin. And if you go up this way and around, you'll see a quite spacious farm. It's the they're in homestead. People staying over there. Pretty nice place, if I'm going to be honest. And if you go up even further there is Clancy Manor. It's going towards your east more. Get rid of that. There we go. And Raven, as she describes that to you, you, of course, know Clancy Manor. If you want to disclose that or not is your choice.
That named sound like my home.
Is that so? We might have to pay a trip there. We do have some half time.
You're thinking of going?
We called it the Manor.
You're thinking of going over there to the belly of the beast? I mean, that sounds like a suicide mission to me.
We've been on a couple of those here recently, and somehow we've managed to come out ahead. So if it's just a recon mission, it might be worth it.
I grew there, but they have changed Sam.
So, well, I'll leave that up to you, Raven. Well, I still got you here, though. And while we're looking at this map, I see that you're pretty close to the West Virginia lumber mill. How are the free radicals treating you? You ever have any trouble with them, Marlene?
Well, the free radicals, they don't have much use for a tiny little thing like us. And honestly, that's what keeps us off their radar. But down to the south, they got their thumb on some areas over here. Let me show you on your map here in just 1 second. It's not really marked. This zone, it's not got a little icon on your map. Let's see, where's she point to? It's this way. She points. Okay, so it's just south of this mound here. Will it ring a ding? I don't know if my map's doing it. I don't think it's. There we go. She points you to what's basically falling off the screen here. She goes, that's a place called Anchor Farm. And, well, I heard some not great rumors about free radicals putting them under their thumb. The Aaronholt farmstead or homestead up here is another little point of worry for us. In fact, it's sort of our neighbors. It, for a long time, was abandoned, sort of occupied by critters and the rest. A lot of bug problems over there, to be honest. But more recently, settlers came through and started trying to use that field. And I'll be real with you that as much as I'm happy to have neighbors and happy to have farmers here, it makes me a little scared that the free radicals are going to pick up on that, come on over and start demanding some tribute from us too. And that's not something we have the supplies to do and manage. Be a little tough.
That's good to know. I appreciate the information. We might pay them a visit while we're out here. I'll have to confer with the gang. I appreciate everything that you told us.
Oh, you're welcome.
I might go introduce myself to Teddy here.
Yeah, let me know. I mean, you might be able to find him out there. He'll probably be back soon enough if you can't see him on your own, but he's probably stalking the woods, doing some laps, doing some circles, keeping us safe.
Fantastic. I'll give him a look-see and make sure that he's all good.
I'll be minding the fire here, getting some food ready. I'll take care of Ruben, make sure he's good. And if y'all want something to eat, you're welcome to take a seat at the fire. The cabins are warm enough. We can put you up in that one over there. Give you a place to spend the night. So, Sam, you're looking for a Ted, is that right?
Yes. Especially since she said the thing about the dogs out there. I want to go check it out.
Okay. So to find Ted, it is pitch black outside. I think it's probably a perception survival. I will say it's a difficulty 2. But I'm going to say because it's dark and you've been forewarned about creatures in the woods, I'm going to say that the complication range is a bit higher. 17 to 20 I'll say 18 to 20. 18 to 20 would be maybe the wrong thing finding you.
Oh, geez.
You are going off completely into the dark, no lights, no ambient. Once you're away from the fire and, their little torches they have set up, you are in the Appalachian woods.
Is it too late for me to try to borrow Raven's flashlight?
Oh, no, you could try and do that.
Raven, I'm going to go check on Ted, make sure that he's all good. Do you mind if I borrow your flashlight?
Okay, Sam, sure.
Much obliged. Thank you, Raven.
Just check something in the rules here regarding low lighting. See if our little rule searcher can tell us. In poor lighting or darkness, perception tests that rely on vision and all ranged attacks increase in difficulty by +1, +2, or +3, depending on how dark it is. That's something we never really implemented into the game, but I love that. These are under the environmental conditions of the rules. So, what I say your test was? Difficulty 2. That's fair enough. It probably should have been difficulty 3, but I increased the complication range instead. So that's what you're up against. Difficulty 2, perception survival test, Sam. And,
oh, wow.
Sam, you have a choice if you want to spend stuff to re-roll this, or you could just live with the thing. Sam got 1 success and 1 complication. And a natural 20.
And it was right on the target number 2. That's wild.
That's a good point.
I'll let it ride. I'll have some fun.
Sure. Let me do something here on the side too. Actually, why don't you do me a favor, Sam? Why don't you narrate just a little bit of what you're doing to search around? Like what's Sam's kind of approach for this?
As I step further away from the light, it starts to get dim. So I turn the flashlight on. It's a small beam, so it only really lights up when I'm pointing it at. And I'll kind of scan to the left, scan to the right, classic kind of tactics, keeping my eyes peeled. But as I scan back to the left, I think I see something moving, and perhaps a flash of 2 eyes peering back at me, unsure if this is Ted or something else.
Yeah, Sam, you go off a little ways from the cabin. Little hard to tell exactly where you are. You don't know this zone. You've been brought up, trying to remember based on where the map is, what direction you think you're going off to. The light of the cabin behind you, dim as it already was, dims even further. And as you're going off there, you scan across, and the light of 2 eyes reflects. And what at first, Sam, you think might be a person. But then you realize these eyes are way too high up to be a person. And Sam, the next thing you know, why don't you go ahead and roll an athletics and strength test for me? Difficulty 1. Complication range 17. As you quickly scan, it's one of those things where you passed by it so fast and you go right back. And that's when you notice this is not something standing at human height. You hear, and boom, right next to you, a massive branch slams into the tree next to you. And you hear, die, humans! You have found yourself what Sam might recognize to be a super mutant who has thrown a large piece of tree up in your area. And I will ask you, does Sam have any previous encounters with a creature like this?
I'm going to say, based on our conversations, I think I've only heard of them. I had heard about them testing FEV, but I have not actually seen one. So this is my first time encountering a super mutant.
Well, you found him alone in the dark, in the woods. He has just thrown a massive tree to the point of almost, I mean, I could call it a log if you want. And you hear, "Human, get away from my find. This is mine." I'm going to put him onto the map here. Maybe, if it will let me. Token, play, show. Okay. And token not being placeable. We love you, Alchemy. God bless you. You're so cool. We love you. Anyway, he is there. You're sort of in this area. It's not going to let me ping either, is it? Now, okay. We love you, Alchemy, so much. I had to reload. So he throws this branch at you, Sam. What would you like to do? Do you want to stick around, engage this target, talk this target, run from this target? Where do you stand in a moment like this? This pretty alarming situation, I think.
I gather that just from this is that he's not, completely mindless. So I'm going to attempt to use my silver tongue and explain to him that I did not mean to encroach on his territory. I'm going to say, listen here, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to alarm you.
Okay.
I'm going to throw a speech and charisma check if that's cool.
Go for it. You got it. I rolled his contested. Whoa!
Beautiful.
Great roll. 3 successes to his 1. What do you say to him, Sam? Sorry if you just said it a second ago. What are you telling the super mutant?
I'm going to say, listen, my large friend, I did not mean to alarm you. I don't know what it is that you're protecting. I'm sorry. I was just looking for my friend out here.
Human, you always try to take what's ours. This is my find.
I'm not even sure that I'm interested. I just want to know, have you seen another human walking around here?
There was one man. He did not come this far down. He did not bother me.
I appreciate the information. I will kindly leave you be. Is there anything that I can offer you? Would you like some water? Nuka-Cola, perhaps?
Nuka-Cola. I like Nuka-Cola. Give me Nuka-Cola.
Here you go. And I pull out a Nuka-Cola out of my backpack.
How do you hand it to a guy whose hands are like so much, man? Do you throw it over to him? You actually hand it to him? What are you doing there, Sam?
I will almost like when you're dealing with like when you're trying to feed like an animal, like a somewhat dangerous animal. I'll just have it like in my fingertips, like in the neck, just in my fingertips, and hand him the larger bottom portion of it, and just very carefully, almost like like God touching Adam, like just arm's length out all the way.
And as you do, this massive hand grabs it from you. Nuka-Cola. Here, as he pops it open, not a vault door. We hear do it again. Make a sound. There we go. He pops off the Nuka-Cola cap. He downs it all in one go. Good human, you serve a good purpose. Lucky find for me. My name is Chop. These are my chops. And you see laying around him, there are discarded Protectron bodies. These ones are a bit different than what you're used to from at least being around Hope. These Protectrons had treads on their feet instead of feet. And it looks like they had buzzsaws on their arms. And Chop goes, I take the shiny bits, the sharp shiny bits, make better chop from it.
Chop, this is absolutely incredible. This is incredible craftsmanship.
Ha 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 ha! Yes! Chop is good at making smash and chop. No more machines, though. Here, I need to find more. Next, Chop makes armor out of machine.
Chop, your skills are impeccable. How are you feeling out here? Or do you have a place to stay, or are you just kind of surviving?
Chop will not tell you where he lives. Too much information. You can roll another speech in charisma if you'd like to try and like pry that out of him.
All right, I'll go for it.
Sure. Do he's a difficulty 1 at this stage. There you go. 1 back into your pool. Too much information, but this human is nice, tells Chop. Good Chop. Gives Nuka-Cola. Do you have more Nuka-Cola?
I, in fact, do. And in my home, we have a Protectron much like this that serves Nuka-Cola.
Protectron with Nuka-Cola. Chop
been,
wants to meet your Protectron with Nuka-Cola.
You know, it's been down and out, so maybe you could tinker with it and get it working again. I have a really good friend who's also a tinkerer, much like you, and I'm sure he'd love to meet you.
Tinker. Chop tinkers with robots, but they're hard to put together, easier to take apart. I would meet your Nuka-Cola machine. Take me to your Nuka-Cola machine.
Chop, we have a boat. We are not going straight back there, but if you're down for a little adventure, maybe we could travel together. We could look for some more machines for you to take apart. Maybe gather up as much as we can, and we can take it back to Hope, where I'm from.
Chop could go on boat. Where does human stay? Does human have fire for the night?
Yes, we do. We're staying at this cabin. Now, I'm definitely going to have to explain to them how I met you in the woods, but they seem like very understandable and reasonable people who aren't quick to judgments. So I'm sure that they'd be happy to host you.
Chop smells meat. Your fire has food?
Yes, it does. In fact, my good friend Raven just caught a fish. So we've got fresh fish there too.
Fish. Chop hasn't had fish in a long time. Chop. Give us one last speech and charisma here, Sam. Still difficulty 1 on this to decide if Chop's going to come back.
I'm going to pay a little bit because I really want this.
You go for it.
I'll pay 1 AP for an extra die. Oh my god.
Wow. AP pull full again about? Feels like it. 3 successes on that. Chop goes, I can take the leftovers back to your camp. They aren't heavy. And you see he reaches down both of his massive lumbering arms and grabs a Protectron body in each by the arm and begins dragging these two closer to you, and you hear tearing these metal bodies across the ground. It's not so loud that it's obnoxious to you, but it is noticeable. You have friends. They will not hurt Chop. Right.
I'll make sure of it, buddy. I got a lot of sway with these people. And I know my two good friends, they trust me.
Chop will follow. Sam, he's at your discretion. If you'd like to try and go ahead of him, that probably sounds like a wiser idea. If you wanted to kind of stay back or anything, you could tell him to do so at this point. You have him enough under your sway to give him at least directions like that.
I will make my way back to camp and hopefully run into Ted there.
As you begin walking back, you're not too far from it. You're probably, I would say honestly, you're probably just out of earshot of the camp, like maybe like a 10-minute walk. When I say earshot, I do sort of mean more like loud things like gunshots and all the rest. You can't hear people at the camp. You can't hear talking or anything like that. But as you move closer to Sam, all of a sudden, you're walking. And the next thing you know, poof, you are slammed to the ground quickly. Before you even see what tackled you, you feel a hand at your mouth, and the person goes, "Whoever the hell you are, whatever that, you got a super mutant on your ass. I'm from around here. Stay quiet. Stay calm." And you see that the guy readies a gun. What would you like to do? So you're sort of pinned, stunned, just in a momentary tackle to the ground, hand like over, trying to cover your mouth to keep you quiet. What'd you like to do, Sam?
Hey, so I got the hand over my mouth and I kind of bat at it, muffled, like saying, like, are you Ted? Ted, listen, calm down.
How the hell you know my name? Who are you? Was that thing with you? What the hell's going on here? You're leading this thing back to somewhere precious.
Listen, Ted, if you could remove your hand from my mouth, I could explain everything.
He reluctantly does. He has the super mutant's like far enough away behind you that he's sort of preoccupied with the protectrons he's got. Didn't see this thing happen, but he probably would in just seconds more. The guy's prepared to take a shot at the super mutant to try and he thinks he's protecting you, is what you would quickly gather from this.
I take, a breath from being tackled and kind of having my mouth and nose covered a little bit, and I say, Ted, listen, I know Ruben, I know Marlene. We just ran into them. I'm staying there with a couple of my friends. I just ran into this guy out in the woods. Listen, I don't know much about super mutants, but he obviously hasn't tried to kill me yet. We had a good lengthy conversation, and I'm hoping that you'll let him back into the cabin.
Into the cabin?
He can stay outside, but at least into the cabin grounds.
You're planning on taking this thing to our camp? What the hell? You can try and roll a you know what? This is going to be a difficult one, Sam. You, Ted, who is out on defensive perimeter, he does not know you. You are trying to take a super mutant to his camp. Difficulty 3, speech and charisma on this guy. Sorry to slam you with so many back to back, but you gotta convince the guard here that this super mutant is not worth taking a pop shot at now.
I will pay 3 to get 2.
Okay. So 4 dice total roll, huh?
Oh, geez.
19, 20. One success.
I would like to pay to reroll one with luck, and I will also use my smooth talker perk if that's okay.
You know what? Yeah, before you do that, let me actually roll what he's going to do a counter instead of me just giving you that number. What's he do? Actually, okay, so he rolled pretty not great on that. Yeah, he had it. Well, it's two. He has 2 successes, so he still beats you by 1. So if you'd like to spend, but honestly, I'm kind of tempted also that with your super mutiny here, maybe he could even assist you with this too. I mean, he's got the worst speech and charisma. He's got a 4. So you gotta roll 4 under. I'm just gonna roll it up and see what he does. No successes from the super mutant. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and use your free reroll on that from your perk. Come on. Woo! Ted looks
Is
at
that
you.
enough?
That's enough.
Okay.
Yes. You give me your word on your life. This thing isn't going to cause problems for us, right?
I've made worse bets in my life.
Well, who am I to say? This is about the time the super mutant friend of yours catches up, old Chop. He doesn't seem alarmed by this situation at all. He looks down and he sees you kind of both tackled to the ground. He goes, "Hurry, humans! Food at the cabin! Food at the fire!" And he drops those 2 protectrons. And I mean, again, he's kind of like loosely pulling them behind him. He drops those 2 and instead grabs you both by the scruffs of your neck and he pulls you both to your feet and sort of just lightly drops you like onto your feet so you're standing and drops you a couple inches off the ground. Hurry! Nuka-Cola time! Fish time! Chop time! And he grabs those 2 protectrons and he just pulls them both past you. And old Ted there is a little startled. I mean, just a little stunned for words. He goes, "Oh, okay, sure, Nuka-Cola and fish, okay." And he just starts walking behind the super mutant. I'm assuming you're keeping pace with them, Sam.
Yes. After he drops me, I dust myself off. Pad down my my dirty shirt and trousers after that. After taking that sling in the dirt, and I say, "Ted, this is Chop. Chop, Ted. I promised some fish and Nuka-Cola, so let's get moving."
Sure. Why do they call you Chop? As you're walking, he asks. He looks over and goes, "I chop robots." And he picks those 2 protectrons up to what is his eye level. And Ted goes, all right then. I do new things every day in the Wasteland." It's about this time you all get back into camp. You see the fire. You smell the food, of course. I mean, you can already do it at this point. It is pitch black outside. There are the sounds of bugs and birds. You see the light of the fire that's made out there in between the cabins. That glow starts to reflect off of the trees. And as you get up there, the thud of Chop's large feet sort of alerts Ruben and Marlene first. Jim, Raven, you 2 are at the camp as well. I don't know if you all would come out to engage with this, but you're back in the scene, folks. What would you 2 like to do as their approach?
Wow, all this food smells good, man. I can't wait to eat this fish Al cooked for me.
Al did not come with you, just as a heads up. He is back on the boat. You may have cooked the fish, though, Raven, if you'd like. Or maybe Marlene and Ruben did for you. But old Alfred's back at the boat right now. Oh, you guys, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't know that you actually took some time to cook on the boat earlier. I knew you wanted to, but I didn't know you actually got around to it. So Raven has cooked fish from earlier. So you're just eating what you got then, huh? What you put in your bag. Maybe sharing some with Jim. Jim, what are you up to?
Just kind of cleaning up, making sure that, or not making sure, but cleaning up from the encounter we had earlier.
For sure. There's a nice, they've kind of hooked you up with that spare cabin there. Usually, you know what you can gather, Jim, is that usually they're probably split between the cabins, that about two of them are sleeping in one's in the other. You got this, you can even see it on screen right now. There's this nice little spit roasted little fire thing going on there. It's a little more cleaned up again than in the pictures. They've tidied the place, they've patched some boards, things like that. It's more sturdy of a shack now. Bunk beds in there, some lockers and things like that. While Sam was out, Marlene and Ruben probably got you hooked up so you have a space to, gave you your bed. Maybe brought around some rations. I don't know if you want to join them out at the fire and eat something fresh, but they'd probably point you to some purified water they have on hand. They'd also, good time for you, like you said, if you want to clean yourself up. There's not much for running water and fresh water.
Right,
They have to bring that in here, but there is, good opportunity, safe spot for you to be reorganizing your bag or anything like that. Sorting through your belongings, taking care of your guns. Maybe even taking a little bit of a breather from the day, firefights and all that.
Well, we heard everybody coming back, so I go out and...
And the first thing you'd notice, Jim, is you look out from the door, step out of the cabin, look around, you see this tall, lumbering figure. I don't know what their actual height is off the top of my head, but something like 8 foot, I think, is like super mutant size, just guessing. You see this massive lumbering being, and this is a good question for you, DK. Has he seen super mutants before in his travels?
No, but he's heard about them.
Uh-huh. So Jim takes that in as he looks out. Raven, have you seen any super mutants before? There's you know what, actually, before you answer that, there is a chance you might have, by the way, based on Clancy Manor's location, to what's it called? Whatever Willard's water park thing over there. There's sometimes some super mutant activity in those parts. You're welcome to roll a die to...
Wow, you're big boy, you like fish.
He gets back to the kind of comes over to you. Chop has not eaten fish in long time. Comes up, brings over these Protectron bodies, slunks them down near one of the broken up cars. Marlene and Ruben look kind of stunned on their face as they look over to Ted. What? Hello? Sam, what? Ted, what? Ted goes, it seems like it might be a long story. Sam, maybe you could fill us in. Who is this tall, lanky fella?
He seems nice. Can I keep him?
Well, I was traveling in the woods searching for Ted here, and when I stumbled across my new buddy Chop, anxious at first, but we were able to come to an agreement, and he's going to be traveling with us.
Raven, why don't you roll a speech and charisma test for us? How? You see 1 second before you roll it. I don't know what I'm looking for. I am forgetting what I'm actually looking for here. Crap. Aha, I found it, I think. Okay, Raven, whatever you roll, just as a warning, a 16 to a 20 could be a little bit difficult. Okay.
Oh, no.
Raven rolls an 18. Raven, you... Give me a second here. Raven, you say that as just a passing phrase while Chop is right next to you, and you feel an intense pain to the back of your head as Chop heavy-handed smacks you, and it intentionally smacks you in the back of the head to daze you. You only take 1 point of damage, but you are stunned forward as Chop goes, "Chop is no one's pet, no one's property." The family there at Ruben, they go, they sort of ready they reach for their guns. They don't Marlene and Ruben don't have a weapon right on them. Marlene grabs a pitchfork that is close by. Ted has his gun in his hand and he picks it up and starts aiming that around. He goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. The hell's going on here? You gotta calm this thing down. We don't want any kind of violence like this here." "Chop not mean. Chop is not property. Wood witch."
Cool your jets. Raven was out of line for saying that, and any of you would have smacked her upside the head too, had she said that to you. It just looks a little bit worse because he's got the power of 10 men behind his arm.
Marlene jumps in and goes, "Yeah, actually," she reaches over and kind of helps lower Ted's gun. She says, I think he could have, crushed her skull in if he wanted to. I think that was quite gentle, actually, especially for such an offensive thing to say, knowing that you wood folk are not to be trusted in these parts, causing us enough grief. Talking about making people property, not a good way to introduce yourself in these parts, and I think you might find a little resistance if you keep behaving like that. I gotta say, I'm more inclined to side with the big one than the wood witch, as he called her.
"Your name is Chop Me, sorry, you want my fish."
"Chop, take your fish." He grabs what you're offering him. He takes it and he turns his back and he walks away from the fire towards the back of one of the cabins. Ted has his rifle lowered. Ruben kind of unholstered a sidearm he had. He has a pistol on his side. And he starts to put that back away. They go, I think that's pretty okay. I think that's a lot for tonight. Don't need anyone getting shot, stabbed, killed at the fire. Let's all just have some food and we can check in on our friend if he's sticking around. If he's sticking around.
"Look, I just wanted a new buddy, Mr. Chop. Guess I need to learn better things to say."
You say that into the darkness as he has walked around the building, sort of hoping he hears that. You can roll another speech and survival, or a speech and charisma check if you'd like. I'm trying to think. It's probably difficulty 1. Nothing. Got you. You don't know. You don't know if that was heard or received. No immediate feedback. Well, anyway, you all are welcome to have food. We've got some extra bits and cooked up some mole rat. It's tough in these parts, but we all are about sharing and share alike. There's also some cooked potatoes here if you want any of those. Glad you brought fish for the new friend of yours. I think I'm going to turn in for the night, says Marlene, and she goes back in the cabin, and Ruben says, yeah, I might come out in a bit. I'll let you all settle yourselves in for the night. Try not to get yourselves killed. Ted says, I'll have some food out here with y'all. Someone's got to keep the peace.
I don't think it's a bad idea to just take a breather and relax a little bit. It's been a long day for everyone.
What's the rest of the group say? Raven's going to wander off to find a place to rest, thinking about what I said. Yeah, there is a cabin if you want to go in there. That's the one that Jim came out of just recently. Jim, what are you doing? If you're engaging with any of this more.
Sit down and eat.
Okay. Okay, for all of you eating, you can mark yourself as having just eaten recently. That'll top that off for you. We are at a point where people could kind of tuck in for the night. We're also at a point where we may be wanting to wrap up this session for the evening in real life. 10 o'clock now. Technically have another half an hour to play. But yeah, what do you guys think? It's a pretty good spot for you all to put maybe a pin in it. Anyone need to do anything? Relax, get their character, anything special, anything you're looking for? I will also say there is the option. I guess this is infinitely an option for you guys, but you could rummage through what they have in the cabin if anyone's looking to swipe anything. I mean, these guys have made their stuff pretty well available to you. You can see they're not very well off, of course. They're just settlers making do here, gardening, getting their cabin up and together. But just to throw out there that there's that option. Chop has, sort of wandered off to his own spot to eat the fish he was given. If anyone wants to check on him for tonight, that's an option too. But otherwise, pretty much people can start going to bed soon if you'd like. It's definitely that time. I'd say it's somewhere around 11 at night.
I'm ready to wind down. There's been a lot of excitement today, and I don't want to go pilfering through these nice people stuff.
Yeah, I have no need.
All good.
I say to myself, me is not wood witch.
There you go. Well, Raven, one of the last things you can do, speaking of not being a wood witch, is go ahead and roll 2 combat dice as you're going to sleep. An effect on this roll would imply something Mothman related. Yeah, got you. Is everyone here deciding to go to bed? It sounds like it. Jim, you just said your thing. Yeah. Sam, you just said you're winding down. So as you all tuck in for the night, the fire outside starts to dwindle down to a low ember. Ruben did come out one time throughout the night. Surprisingly, Ruben's kind of the one that went and went to check on old Chop. He went out to the back behind the cabin that he's staying in, taking a look there. As you all are settling in for bed, Raven, as you're just on the brink of sleep, you feel a strong pull further into a dream state, as if first you were sitting in that stage between awake and asleep. You feel yourself pulled. At first, it feels like one of those dreams where you're falling, but then it's as if you're physically pulled over the tree line. You see what looks like the Clancy Manor, or the Manor as you've called it. You see pyres lit ablaze outside. And something that's probably very different from the last time that you're here is you see tents, lots and lots of tents. You're hovering over Clancy Manor. Why don't you roll a perception and survival? It's only a difficulty 1, actually difficulty 0. So this is all AP maker. If you score a lot, I'll take out however well you do on this perception survival. 1 success. I'll add that back to your poll right now. From this height, it's a bit difficult to get a full grasp of the camp. But you see what looks like a division, a grouping of Mothman cultists lined up in formation, as if ready to march. And it's at the time that you're looking down upon all these cultists that all of a sudden, one of them looks right back at you. And within a second, you are pulled right back to where you were in your bed, and you awake with a start. Was it a dream? Was it a vision? You don't know. But that's where we're going to end it for this week. Everyone out there, to all of our players, to all of our viewers, I want to thank you for joining us this evening. This was a very fun session. I really appreciate the opportunity to dive into some of this, and the dice really guided our path tonight. DK asked me recently on that episode, how much do you plan ahead? How much did I plan for tonight? 0. Goose egg. You guys wrote this story from start to finish. So I want to thank you for participating and having this fun improv session with me. That is the fun of it. That is what I love about things like tabletops and D&D and all the rest is what sort of story can you throw together on the fly. I hope it was fun for all of you. We are going to head off here in just a moment and do our case review, our critical after show evaluation. He said it correctly that time. This is our session that we do for paid members. So this will go up on the Substack. I don't know why my brain was slow. I guess it's because I was thinking, how the heck am I'm going to have to upload these to Coffee too, because I want everyone over there to have access to these as well. So look out for that. I don't know if there's a good way for me to interlink those. I don't know how to look into that. But look, if you're a paid member, you get access to this critical after show evaluation, and that's about a 15 to 30 minute episode on its own. If you would like to help support the efforts to expand what we're doing here, and we're expanding it big, you can contribute over on Coffee or directly over on Substack. I'm going to take care of our subscribers no matter where you choose to put your money, but I'll tell you what, Coffee is winding up probably being the more exciting place. It's going to have more opportunities for me to upload things, as well as potentially coming out with a shop in the future over there. We might sell some cool knickknacks and baubles and ends from the show here. So if you're interested, ko-fi.com/overseer Kyle. It should be in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You can find this linked in the show notes. I will remind people, if you want to save some money off the Bethesda shop, 20% off of that. Use code BTALES31, BTALES32, BTALES33, and so on. 33 won't start until later this week. Probably by the time this episode is syndicated, 33 will be active. So look out for that. You can always check the YouTube descriptions that I've got for the latest codes. As always, the code BTALES will save you 10% on the Modiphius site. So you can save 20 on Bethesda, 10 on Modiphius. Grab yourself some minifigs off the Modiphius site, save yourself that 10% off, and give us 10% kickback off of it. Be amazing, help out a ton. And really, if you all could pass on the show through word of mouth, tell some other Fallout fans you got, tell some other D&D lovers you got a friend that likes Baldur's Gate 3 and Fallout at the same time, that is a perfect person to bring into the mix here. And I want to stress that, again, as I get more space and more time, we're going to host more games. We've got a whole second campaign coming out soon that is just a 3-shot. We got more of those planned. We're welcoming people from just the public to come on in and play. We've had beautiful sort of pre-session zeros already. So we're calling them Discord meet and greets. So be sure to join up on the Discord server. There's a couple more of those going on. They're on Saturdays for the rest of the month here. What else do I want to stress? Instagram, TikTok. I'm trying to grow the TikTok out as well. Instagram, nice people over there, but I don't love Instagram these days. It kind of lost me. But TikTok, proven fun. I like it. Both places, great Fallout community, but I think TikTok's stealing my heart a little bit more than Instagram these days. Twitch is where we're live on Sundays, so check that out. We're probably also going to do the Vault broadcasts over there in the future, so look out for that, twitch.tv/overseer Kyle. And that would be my next thing. Please go drop a follow on the Vault broadcast podcast. It's already up there on iTunes and all the podcast players, Spotify. I think the one place that's missing this second is YouTube. It'll be on the Overseer Kyle channel, so nice and easy to find that. But we're going to have it up there. It'll be listed as a podcast. YouTube's a great place for hosting those these days. It just, it'll probably be up there when you get this episode on Wednesday. So go drop that a follow. Give it a rating, too, if you get the chance. Drop a 5-star if you like it. Leave a comment below, and that goes to the same for the YouTube videos. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a comment below. All of that helps beat back the algorithm monster, as I've taken to calling it. If a video doesn't get a lot of love right away, it gets de-escalated in the rankings. So if you guys see these episodes drop, don't hesitate. Get in there, give some likes, give some comments, tell us one of your favorite moments, and that's where we'll leave it for tonight. Be safe, take care of each other, stay strapped. Until next time, everyone. Bye-bye.